Hi, welcome to section 12.1, the surface area of prisms. Our objective is to find the surface area of prisms, and our homework is going to be on page 563 to 564, numbers 1 through 9. So before we begin this section, we actually have to find out what our definitions are that are associated with it. Our first definition is of a polyhedra. Now, a polyhedra can be defined as a three-dimensional figure. So everything we're going to be talking about in this chapter is a polyhedra, the first one being a prism. A prism can be defined as a polyhedra with two bases. Now those bases can be defined as two parallel congruent sides. Lateral edges are the parallel segments that are going to be joining the vertices of the bases. The lateral faces are the sides that are not the bases, which is going to be incredibly important for our next vocab word, lateral area. Lateral area is the area of all of our lateral faces. So what we're going to do is we're going to sum the area of the sides, but exclude the bases. The surface area is the area of the lateral faces and the bases combined, so the area of all of the surfaces. So let's get started with some examples. For our first example, we want to find the lateral area and surface area of this figure. So I'll give you a second to draw it, and then we're going to get going. Push pause and press play when you're ready. So here we go, our lateral area. The lateral area is going to be the area of our lateral faces. Now, you have to define your bases. The bases, once again, have to be your parallel congruent surfaces, which for me is going to be my top and bottom. You wouldn't be wrong if you said the left and the right, or the front and the back. I just like when I can to use the top and bottom, especially for a rectangular prism like we have here. So my lateral faces would be the right and the left rectangles, the front and the back rectangles as well, and we're going to sum their areas. So let's go ahead and let's find the area of that right side. The right side's area is going to be 4 times 6, and 4 times 6 is 48. The left side is going to match. The front's area. Now, what we know here is we know that opposite sides are going to be congruent. So if it's 8 here, that means that it's also going to be 8 here as well. So the area of that front is going to be 12 times 8, which is going to give us 96. Sum all of those together, the right, the left, the front, and the back, which would match the front. We get 288. Now, for our surface area. The surface area is the area of all the surfaces. We have the right, the left, the front, the back, the top, and the bottom. All of the surfaces that we have here. So here we go. What we know here is we know that when we sum up the right, the left, the front, and the back, that gave us 288. Now the top. Again, opposite sides are going to be congruent. So the top has a side of 12 and a side of 6, just like the bottom. 12 times 6 is 72 for the top, 72 for the bottom. And when we sum it, we get 432. Now, there is an alternative way of doing this. Another way you can find lateral area of a prism is lateral area can be defined as the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism, where height refers to the distance between the bases. So let's go ahead and write that down. So lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism, where height of the prism refers to the distance between the bases. Alright, so here we go. The perimeter, 12 plus 6 plus 12 plus 6. The perimeter of my base is 36, times the height, the distance between my bases, the distance between the top and bottom was 8. 36 times 8 is 288. Now, the surface area one you might be able to figure out on your own, but just in case, another way of writing that surface area is the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base, where that big B is going to represent area of the base. So let's go ahead and write that down. Surface area is the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So we know that our lateral area was 288 plus 2 times the area of the base. 12 times 6 was 72, gave us 432. So we'd have equal measurements here. So here's our next example, and we want to find the lateral area and surface area of this prism. Now, the first thing that we have to decide is what those bases are. Now, we got a bottom here, but base doesn't necessarily mean bottom. By its definition, it's going to be two congruent parallel polygons. So what we have here is our two congruent parallel polygons are actually our triangle. If you can imagine it, it's actually a triangular prism, only tipped over on its side. So we want to make sure that we know that. So let's write that down. The base is going to be those equilateral triangles. So here we go. First thing we want for our lateral area. Our lateral area, you can either add up the area of all those bases, those lateral faces, excluding the bases, and we would have 7 times 6 plus 7 times 6 plus 6 times 7. That's one way of doing it, or our formula. We'll have the perimeter of our base. Again, remember, our base isn't the bottom, it's the equilateral triangles. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is going to be 18, times the height, which refers to the distance between the bases, which is 7. Altogether, for our lateral area, we should have 126. So here we go. The next part is going to be that surface area. Our surface area is going to be our lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. Now, we know what our lateral area is. It's 126. We have to find out what the area of my base is. So let's go ahead and let's take one of those triangles and draw it out to the side. All of my sides are length 6. Now I'm going to drop in a height. We know if it's equilateral, it's equiangular, so I got a 60-degree angle here and a 30 here with my 90. That height splits my base into two equal pieces, 3 and 3. If across from my 30 is 3, across from my 60 is 3 root 3, which is my height. Area of a triangle. 1/2 my full base, which is 6, times my height, which is 3 root 3, which gives me half of 6 is 9. Oh, sorry, half of 6 is 3, times 3 is 9 root 3. So for our lateral area, we have 126 plus 2 times 9 square root 3 is going to end up giving me 126 plus 18 root 3. We can't simplify that any farther, so we just leave it. Here's our last example. So let's copy it down, press pause, and let's see what we can do. So here we go. You should have got for the lateral area 480, and for the surface area 480 plus 192 root 3. So let's go ahead and let's solve this. To solve this, the lateral area, the perimeter of the base, 6 sides of 8 is 48, times 10, the height, which refers to the distance between the bases. My bases being my regular hexagons. And 48 times 10 is 480. Now, for our surface area, we need to find out the area of my base, which is a regular hexagon. The area of my base is going to be 1/2 the perimeter of the base, 48, times the apothem. So let's go ahead and draw that apothem in. Splits my base into 4 and 4. And let's draw in the radius of that hexagon, which gives me a 60-degree angle. We have a 30, 60, 90. If across from 30 is 4, across from the 60 is 4 root 3. That's my apothem. Half of 48 is 24, times 4 root 3 is 96 root 3. So for our surface area, it's the lateral area plus 2 times the area of my base, which is going to be 480 plus 192 root 3. So here's our homework answers. Again, our homework was problems 1 through 9 in section 12.1. If you have any questions, please make sure you bring them tomorrow in class. And as always, have a good one.